Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
Hi, Giovanna Rossi here, and welcome to another episode of the Well Woman Show, where I interview women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs about their lives and their road to becoming and being who they are today. Are you at the top of your game professionally, but feeling burned out, or finding it hard to focus on your goals, or unfulfilled personally? Or are you in transition, simply juggling so many things you find it hard to take care of your own needs? Well, you're not alone. We all need to activate the 4 universal superpowers. These are the internal strengths and abilities we all already have, but don't use all the time. Superpowers can be cultivated, and they include awareness, intuition, action, and acceptance. Toward the end of the show, in a segment called Superpowers for Success, I ask my guest about her superpowers, and the answers will give you the strength, perspective, and power to live a well woman life. I'm so happy you're here, so thanks for tuning in. This episode of the Well Woman Show is brought to you by Collective Action Strategies, supporting organizations that support women and families, and by Well Woman Life Movement Challenge Quiz, your resource for living your best life. If you're in burnout or major transition, this is your time to figure out what's holding you back from making the changes you need to make in order to live your fullest, most joyful life. The cause of all of our challenges, personal or professional, can actually be rooted in the lack of internal superpowers and or external supports. Our Well Woman Life framework tells you which stage of the Well Woman life cycle you're in and what to do about it so you can truly live your best life. You can find out more at wellwomanlife.com/quiz. I'm so thankful for support from Natural Awakenings magazine in New Mexico, a monthly green, healthy lifestyle publication, and for support from High Desert Yoga, promoting optimum physical health, clarity of mind, and spiritual inspiration for all. Hello, hello. Welcome back if you're a returning listener. And if you're new here, I want to give you a very warm welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we do a lot of different things that basically support you as a woman out in the world, doing your thing and making things happen and juggling lots of things, supporting you to do your very best and live your very best life. And so we use a lot of mindfulness, and we really look at some of the feminist principles embedded in our society and kind of untangle a lot of the things that have been put in place and systems that are set up to really not support women. And so there are things that we can do to claim our space, claim our power, enjoy our lives, and not feel run down and ragged all the time and feeling like we're not meeting our goals. So that's what we're up to. And today on the show, I'm excited to share a short show on family goal setting. And the reason I'm tackling this now, if you're listening to it when it publishes, it's partway through January. And, we've done a lot of talking about personal goal setting and also, not necessarily setting up resolutions, setting yourself up to fail, but rather setting yourself up to win and succeed and feel good about the things that you're doing. So I wanted to take that conversation into the family arena. So if you have kids, this is right up your alley. If you don't have kids, you might want to do this with your partner anyway, or other people in your family that you might have mutual goals with, goals and plans. So whatever your situation, this will be a good process anyway, just to go through for goal setting. This is specifically going to address, though, people with like a group of people trying to set goals together, particularly if there are little kids involved. So how do you get your family members on the same page to work together toward goals for the year? The best way that I have experienced and that I've come up with is to really get them involved, right? And so this goes to the idea that we as women don't have to be doing everything. We don't have to set the goals for everybody. We don't have to make it happen. We don't have to, get a square peg into a round hole. We can actually ask for help, ask for input, delegate responsibility, and have it be a group effort. So that's where I'm coming from with this. And it's super important because I do know that a lot of women listening to this show, we tend to take full responsibility for the comings and goings of the family and the household. And we do that partly because we have been conditioned to do that. And we do that because we give ourselves these expectations, that we need to be, that's what being a good mom is. That's what being a good wife is. That's what being a good person is as a woman. And really, in reality, we know that that's not the case, right? Like, we know that we have value outside of running the household and all the rest of it. So, but it's about, how do we manifest that? Like, how does that show up? And so some of these subtleties are the things that we undo and untangle on this show. And one of those is this idea of group goal setting and getting other people involved in delegating. So we also want to make it fun. So the first one was get other people involved. The second thing here is to really make it fun, like make it a whole fun activity. Number 3 is let them know that if they give their input, they'll get they'll get some of their goals on the list for the year. And so that's a good way to get people involved in your family. The next step is to really have a clear process. And that's what I'm going to help with today, as we get into it. And then the final tip here, just as we get started, is to start and end the process within a reasonable amount of time. It can't be something that goes on and on and on over, days. It needs like a clear starting point and a clear ending point. I would say 1 to 2 hours, depending on the ages of the people involved. So my kids are 7 and 9, and they stuck it out for a good 2 hours. We did it on New Year's Eve as a family. And at first it was like, they, weren't so sure that they were into it. And then once we got all the yummy snacks out and all the magazines and all the fun, scissors and glue, and they got into it, and they ended up really enjoying it. And I think that was because, partly because of the yummy snacks and the fun activity, but also all of their voices were heard in the process. And so it was just really fun for everybody. So what we did was the idea was to get some family goals on paper for the new year. And I really wanted to do this visually because of doing it with kids. And plus I just love vision. I love visioning and vision boards, and I'm a very visual planner and thinker. So this what I'm going to share with you is really how to set your goals, but then how to actually put it into create a vision board with your family. So the first step, getting into this, the first step is really using the 3 domains of our lives that I use in the Well Woman framework, and adjust it for the family dynamic. and ask each person, and again, this is going to, vary depending on how old your kids are. But ask each person to add 1 to 3 things for each area. So you can go around the room, or you can get a big poster board and have them write it on. But the first one would be the personal domain. So that's your health, your activities, your friends, all of those kinds of things. The second domain, in the Well Woman Life framework, the second domain is professional life. But in this adjustment for the family activity here, we're calling it education/money. So this is any goals around school, like my son really wanted to do the spelling bee this year, or last year. So that would be a goal that we would put, that would be that would be something that he would write in that area. So we're talking about the second domain of our lives, which in the family activity is called education/money. So this includes anything to do with school, learning, saving money, earning money, that kind of thing. And then the third domain in the Well Woman Life framework is public service. And as we adjust it for the family activity, it's just service. So it's giving, it's volunteering, it's, basically thinking about the community and about other people. So those are our 3 domains: personal, education/money, and service. And so each person, you go around the table, and each person can add 1 to 3 things for each area. And at that point, you're going to have a really good idea of where people are, what people are thinking about. And I'm going to just grab, while I'm recording this, I want to actually look at our vision board so I can give you examples of what we came up with. And it's stuck up on our fridge right now. So I'm grabbing it. And in the personal domain, my daughter wrote down jump rope shows because she is on the jump rope team. And she also wrote down chores. She wants to start earning a little bit more money for extra chores. And let's see, my son has a goal around chess and his chess club. So different things like that, in the personal area. And then in the education/money, domain, we had different things around riding bikes, around learning a new game, different activities. My son wants to learn how to use his skateboard that he got for Christmas. So those kinds of things. And then in the service domain, we talked about what kinds of service projects we might want to do. They were both really interested in doing something with animals, and then also with homeless or hungry children in the community. So we've got all of that on our piece of paper, and I just took notes, as people talked, so that I could quickly get the information down. And I will include a picture of this on the show notes at wellwomanlife.com/149show, so you can see what we came up with. All right, so that was step 1. Step 2, there are 4 steps altogether. So step 2 is basically brainstorming why you want these results and coming up with words that will really indicate your family values. So, and again, this is going to depend on how old the kids are. My kids were just at the point where we could start really having these conversations, but if they're a lot younger, it's just going to depend. But basically, we talked about like, why do you want these results? Do you want to be better at something? You want to feel stronger? You want to connect more? And we asked, if we had all of these things this year, would everyone be happy? And when we asked that question, we realized we were missing a couple of really crucial things. And so that gave us a chance to add them. So we added a few things at that point. But basically, once we went through this brainstorm of why we want these results and coming up with some words to describe that really indicated what our family values were. And we wrote those on our sheet of paper that I'll include in the show notes. And we came up with health, connection, friends/community, money, and creativity. So we put that on our piece of paper, and that really set the foundation for what we were going to create for our vision board together. So step 3, using the words that we brainstormed, as well as the intentions that we articulated in step 1, we then used the magazines to find pictures and words that reflected them. And this was really fun for everybody. I love doing it, but it was really fun for the kids because they were able to match pictures to the things that they had been talking about and the goals that they came up with. And it's important to, not be perfect about this. So if my son wants to learn how to skateboard and he can't find a picture of a skateboard, well, that's okay. Come up, find a picture of something that, might remind you of, at that kind of activity, or even draw a skateboard, or just, you can be creative with it. So that took up a big chunk of our time, and, that gave us a chance to refill snacks and put some more music on and just really enjoy each other's company, and, cut out all these pictures and, start placing them on our poster board, which, we used a probably 2 feet by 1 foot piece of paper for our vision board. And we laid that out in the middle. And then as people cut out their pictures, they just laid it on the paper. And then we didn't end up gluing until after we were kind of, done and satisfied. And we had a lot of overlapping pictures. So like the bike got covered up and we can only see the back wheel and stuff like that. But, it's fine. It ended up looking really, really sweet. And I'll include a picture of that in the show notes as well at wellwomanlife.com/149show. So, actually, I moved into step 4 without naming it. So that was step 4, taping or gluing the images and words onto the poster board. And we had so many images that my daughter ended up making a second vision board just made up of all of her favorite things. Like she cut out, 20 pictures of dogs and cats and made her whole own other vision board just with animals and things like that. So, this is a fluid process. It's not about the product as much as it is about the process. So just remember, product is not as important as the process. And really what you're doing here is connecting and learning from each other what's really important. I mean, I definitely learned some things about what's important to each of my kids and my husband, frankly. My husband came up with some things that really are, were awesome and that we'll definitely put into the mix for 2019. And so those are the 4 steps. I hope that's been helpful. This process, I've talked about on several of these shows. And so I'll include links to previous shows where I've talked about creating a vision board and that kind of thing if you want more resources it'd be great for you to go back and listen to some of those shows. And so I think those are, I don't know what the numbers are offhand, but I'll post them in the show notes at wellwomanlife.com/149show. And if you are going to do this with your family, I would love to see the pictures. Join me in the Well Woman Life community group at wellwomanlife.com/Facebook and post your, I'll start a thread in there about family vision boards and then post your pictures in there. I would love to see them and we can support each other with our family goals this year. Until next time, this is Giovanna Rossi with The Well Woman Show. That's it for our show today. Remember, if you need support to live your Well Woman life, head over to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join us. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings women together to share our successes and challenges as women, leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one in your city yet and you'd like to start one, email info@wellwomanlife.com. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe in iTunes and leave a review. This helps raise visibility, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Well Woman Life. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.